Hi everyone, and welcome to Sarawak. I was asked by someone in the comments to demonstrate how I made my 3D printed mold, and 3D printing starts here. This is Fusion 360. It's a CAD program. CAD is computer aided design, for those who don't know what that is. But everything you make on a 3D printer has to be designed somewhere, and this is the program that I use. Fusion 360 is a great program, really powerful, but most importantly it's free for hobbyists. So that's what you see up here in the top corner: personal, not for commercial use. So what that means is if you're a hobbyist and you don't make any money from it, then you're free to use their program at no cost. If you do start to make money of it, then you can pay for it, and it's not particularly expensive. It is an affordable program for a hobbyist. So without further ado, we'll actually get started. Now, the first thing you have to do is you create a sketch. Now, because this is designed for absolute beginners who've never done any sort of design, I'm going to, rather than use Z, X, that, I'm just going to use top, front, right, left, back, which are the names of the faces up in the top right corner. So that's what I'll be using to make it a little bit easier. So you click on top, that'll give you the top down view, and you click on this little face, and that will create your sketch here. So the idea is that this works just like a drawing program. So you draw what you want and then you make it 3D by using a feature called Extrude. So today I'm going to be making a bar of soap. And I'm going to turn that bar of soap into a mold, but the first thing I'm going to do is just make it into a bar of soap. So I've got my sketch. I've decided that I want to have an oval shaped bar of soap, so I'm going to use the Ellipse tool. So create ellipse, and what that does is it creates an oval shape. So I'm going to want it to be 50 millimeters, which is 5 centimeters, by 80 millimeters, which is 8 centimeters. And then I right click and I go OK. That's what I want. So that's here is the absolute barest of what I'm going to do. So I'm going to finish the sketch, and this is going to form the basis of what my block of soap will look like. So at the moment it's just a two-dimensional sketch, but I'm going to click on it and I'm going to go create extrude. Now when you see the little letter here, this is the shortcut key for it. So you can either press E or you can go through clicking. So I'm going to extrude it 25 millimeters, that's 2.5 centimeters. So now my two-dimensional sketch, which you can see here, this is my sketch, has become a three-dimensional image. So that's stage one. You've got the basis, the general outline of what you want it to look like. So now I'm going to click on the front image, so front, and I'm going to make another sketch because I want it to be more interesting than that. So create a line. You can either press L or you can go through create line, and in the middle I'm going to make a 5 millimeter line up, and there is a way to make it that you can click on this, but this is a beginner's tutorial, so I'm not going to do too much detail. I'm just going to start it off with the easiest way that you can do it. So I'm going to make another line, and we know that this is 80 millimeters long, so I'm going to make it 40 for each side. And then up on each side as well, but I'm going to make it 20 millimeters up. And the reason for that, and in the middle 25, because that'll lead to the top. And the reason for that is because I'm going to use this setup, these points on the sketch, to make a adjustment to the existing block that's in front of me. So I'm going to use this, which is called a spline, which creates a curvy line between points. So I'm going to click once here, once at the top middle one, once on that side, and I'm going to do the same down here, once at the bottom, once in the middle one that it was up, and again at the bottom, and you click OK, and that ends those, and I'm just going to finish like that, finish sketch. So now I've got another sketch in the middle of my design. So what I'm going to do is over here on the left hand side, I'm going to hide that body temporarily. I'm going to click on these lines, I'm going to bring that body back, and up here I'm going to split that body. So the body is here. I'm going to select the body I want, and because I'd already selected those lines, it'll show me that it's going to cut that block into 3 pieces, and you'll see that my one piece turned into 3 different bodies up here. So what that allows me to do is see that this main curvy one is body 1, and then you've got body 2 and body 3. So we don't need 2 or 3 anymore, so I'm going to get rid of those, and now we're left with a curvy block. So that's still pretty basic, doesn't look very interesting at all. So I'm going back to the top, and I'm going to make another sketch, but this time, because I want it to be personalized, and I know my wife likes to make soap, which is why I'm doing this, I'm going to insert a DXF, which is an image file, and I'm going to choose the little logo that she made for her bars of soap that she makes. So I've got that there. I know personally from this one that it's not quite big enough, so I'm going to modify this and just make it a bit bigger. I'm going to make it 20% bigger, and that's what we've got now. So now I've got an image that I've brought into the program, and that's my wife's image that she likes to have on her bars of soap. And of course, when we make a mold out of it, that image will show up on the bar of soap. So there are a couple of ways to do this. You can either do an extrude, but that will create a flat from here through the block. But if you use a tool called Emboss, it will wrap that image around a face. So it won't create a flat image, it'll curve it around whatever face is on there. So if you put it, say, on here, on this it will curve around the whole thing. It won't just cut a flat image. So the emboss is the tool that you want. Now I want it to deboss, I want it to go into the block. So I'll click that, and I don't need it to be that deep. So I'm going to make it 0.4 millimeters deep. And that will give me, when I click OK, that will give me the image cut into the top. Now the rest of this is just making it fancy for you. There's a function called Fillet, and that rounds off edges, makes them smooth and nice. So I'm going to select both of those, and I'm going to make it 7 millimeters. Alright, so that's 7 millimeters. We'll make a nice round, comfortable to hold block of soap. But what I can see now, going back to the top, is that my image is not quite contained within that area. So I can go back to the emboss stage, can scroll back to here. If I right click on it, I can edit the feature and it will automatically jump back to that stage, and I can move it just a little bit over, maybe just a little bit up, and you can control it exactly how far you want over here, but dragging it is probably the more natural option. So we'll see how it looks like. Not too far. Feature. So we'll go back. Vertical distance. We'll make that 1. Go down a little bit more. So I think vertically it was okay. So we'll go 0. It'll still probably overlap a little bit. Well, how about we bring it back to 1 millimeter over. See what that looks like. Okay, so that's good enough. I'm happy with that. That'll look okay. So that is the bar of soap. What we've done is designed what we want our bar of soap to look like. So in the interest of making it not an excruciatingly long video, I will finish that like that, and I'll move on to how to make it into a mold in another quick video. So we'll start off with this one, and there's your bar of soap. You can make it to however you want. If you want to put text instead of the picture, then you can go back to this So you go back to this, I'm going to delete that. So I'll put text instead. So create text. Soap bar. And just like Word or anything else, you can align it, change the font to whatever you want it to be, change the size, all that sort of thing. And then you just drag it to wherever you want it to be. And of course it's still got that old emboss there. So we'll bring that back. We'll select that, create emboss face, and select the face you want. Okay. And it will make that design. So you can put whatever you want. You put your logo, you put your name, you can put soap written on it, and it will appear with that emboss. Oops, sorry. Will appear with that emboss feature here. Of course, if you'd done that, you wouldn't make it quite so big of a thing, or you would put it in the middle. Either way, you just keep forgetting that's on the bottom. There you go. So, as I said, I'm going to leave that as is, and I'll show you how to turn that into a mold later on.